Hello, and welcome to CS2340 Group 3's Sprint 4 demo video. In this demo video, we're going to have 6 different parts. We're going to walk through Sprint 4 features, go through Scenario 1, go through Scenario 2, run check style, show all the unit tests, and then show the extra credit features. For the Sprint 4 features, we have the API integration and the upvoting/duplicate issue marking. These two will be shown within the scenarios, so I'm not going to show them right now. For the design pattern, we implemented the factory design pattern, which can be seen right here. For the factory design pattern, we have a user interface, and then we have a user factory, which creates a student and creates a staff. For the student and staff, that is going to be the dynamic type of the objects created, while user is the static type of the objects created. And this is helpful because within the code, if you ever want to just access it generally, you can use user instead of having to go into either student or staff. And this is the factory design pattern. Now let's go through scenario 1. For scenario 1, we're going to register a new account under johnhobby4@gottech.edu. We're going to create multiple campus issues, show that they appear in the issue feed, open each issue, verify info and issue detail matches the issue feed, show external API integration, show both success and failure. For upvoting, show that it counts updates correctly, try to upvote the same issue, and remove an upvote. For duplication, mark issue as a duplicate, verify behavior is shown, and invalid behavior is prevented, such as marking issue as a duplicate of itself and invalid duplicate relationship. Then you navigate through the app and log out. So, let's run the app. And for this, I'm going to create this as a staff account. First of all, I'm going to show that this account doesn't exist yet. As you can see, no account registered, so let's go to sign up. I'm going to create this as a staff account because for us, we made it so that you can only mark issues as duplicates of each other if you are a staff, because we don't want students to be able to do that. So let's create an account. So now let's go down to create and do duplicate issue 1, because this is one of the issues that we're going to be marking as a duplicate. Facilities management, broken not working, hi. Here we have the API. We use a location API. So what this means is that if you put in a valid location and you click this button, it's going to fill in the rest of the location for you. And here it worked correctly. So let's do submit issue, and here it is shown up here. So you have the creator, creation time, and the location filled in completely. Let's create another issue. Let's do water leak from ceiling. Housing and residence life, leak, urgent. For this one, if you don't put any location in and you try to click this button, it's going to say enter location before matching. And for a failure mode, if you try to put in a location that obviously isn't the location and you try to match it, it's going to give you a no location matched. So let's put in a valid location and then match it. And here was matched correctly. So let's do description. And here it was created right here. Now let's create one more issue. We're going to do duplicate issue 2. Facilities management, broken not working, hi. Let's put in the same thing. Let's put in Georgia Tech. And it matches again, and let's do description. Submit issue. So now we have these 3 issues. We're first going to test upvoting. So if we have, right now the upvote count is shown as 0. If we upvote, then upvote count is shown to 1. And it's not possible to do multiple upvotes because the upvote button then changes to a remove upvote button. So let's remove the upvote when the upvote count is brought down to 0. Let's keep it as 1 for this water leak from ceiling issue. Here we have the analytics. Let's just look over it right now. We have 3 closed issues over time. The main thing to look at is this closed one, because when you mark an issue as a duplicate, then it becomes closed. We have the profile and we have the staff. So here in the staff dashboard, this is where you can actually mark issues as duplicate, assign staff, add updates, change status. For the duplicate issue, the way you do it is you click this button right here under the issue that you want to mark as a duplicate. So let's mark duplicate issue 2 as a duplicate of duplicate issue 1. For some invalid duplication, you can't mark issues as duplicates of themselves, which in this case you can see that duplicate issue 2 doesn't show up in this list. So let's mark it as a duplicate of duplicate issue 1 and click confirm. When you mark it as a duplicate, it's moved to closed. So if we go back to analytics, we can see that there are now 4 closed issues. And if we go back to the feed, we can see that it's marked as a duplicate of duplicate issue 1, And now you can't upvote and you can't do anything to this issue because it's now closed and marked as a duplicate. So if we head back over here and we try to mark duplicate issue 1 as a duplicate of duplicate issue 2, we can see that it doesn't show up. So this invalid behavior is not allowed because it doesn't show up here. We make sure that any closed issues, any duplicative issues don't show up in this list. So now let's go back over here and let's log out. So now we go into scenario 2 because we showed all of this. For scenario 2, we already have these 3 accounts created. Let's go through Ronit first. Ronit is a student, so they're going to log in, see the issues created, and modified. For upvoting, we're going to upvote the same water leak issue, verify that the total count updates correctly, and show that the state is tracked separately. So let's actually go over to Firebase and see the water leak issue that we just created. So here we have the water leak issue. So the way that the upvotes are categorized is an array of the users that upvoted it. So this was the Janhavi user who upvoted it. So now we're going to log into, or actually yes, so we're going to upvote the same issue and then show that the current user was added to the Firebase. For duplicate issue, we're going to use the existing duplicate relationship and show that we're not allowed to alter this relationship. So let's log in as Ronit. So once we log in, we can see that duplicate issue 2 has been marked as a duplicate of duplicate issue 1. So we're not able to do anything to this. So let's go over to the water leak from ceiling. And as you can see, the upvote count is shown as 1. So let's click upvote. And if we go back over to Firebase, we can see that the upvote has been updated to show 2 users now. So there are now 2 users who have upvoted this issue. And the create is the same. For analytics, we still have 4 closed issues, and we have the profile right here. And as you can see, there's no staff dashboard here, which means that Ronit isn't able to mark issues as duplicates of each other. So if we go back over here and we look at this duplicated issue, there's nothing we can do to unduplicate it or unmark it as a duplicate. So we can't do anything in that sense. Now let's log out and let's log into the next account. So log out. Here we have Ananya. For Ananya, she's going to show an edge case. So for our upvoting, she's going to try to rapidly click. And for duplicating issue, she's going to show that it's an invalid action. So she's going to be a staff, which is why she's allowed to do duplicate issues. So let's log back in. This account was already created, which is why I can just sign in. Perfect. So if we sign in, we can again see the duplicated issue right here. And we can see the water leak from ceiling. So here we have the create one, the analytics with 4 closed issues, the profile, and the staff dashboard. So for the staff dashboard, we can actually unmark it as a duplicate. So let's unmark this one as a duplicate to show that this works. Confirm. And then if we go over to, let's go over to duplicate issue 1. Let's try to mark it as a duplicate of itself. If we click mark it as duplicate, we can see that duplicate issue 1 isn't even shown in this list. So because of that, we can't mark it as a duplicate of itself, which is good. That's one invalid thing. And another example is that duplicate 2 is currently marked as a duplicate. So let's say we want to mark it. The main thing is you don't want to create a chain of duplicates. And when you click mark as a duplicate, you don't see duplicate 2 in this list because it's already marked as a duplicate. So because of that, we don't see it in this list, which is great. Now, if we go back over here and we click the upvote button many times, if we rapidly click, then it doesn't count the upvote multiple times because let's actually do the to water leak. So right now, if we head over here, the water leak only has 2 upvotes. So if we click it, if we try to rapidly click it, we go back over here, it now has 3 upvotes. And even though we rapidly click the button, then it won't count these upvotes multiple times. It'll only be counted as 3 upvotes. So the rapidly clicking does not make it so that multiple upvotes are counted. Now let's go over to profile and let's log out of Ananya. Now let's go over here. Suman, our last student, wants to verify the current state of the same issue after previous interactions, and we show an edge case for the API with failed API response. So let's log into Suman's account. Sign in. Perfect. So as we can see, this issue is still marked as a duplicate, and we have the upvotes down here for the water leak from ceiling, and this duplicate issue 1 is not marked as a duplicate, so that's why it's still showing over here. The staff dashboard is not showing up, which is great because that means that because Suman is a student, so they can't do that. For analytics, we still have 4 closed issues, and we can check the analytics that it changes if we have 17 currently submitted issues. Let's do a Suman issue. Leak, medium, let's do, Van Leer. It recognized it as Texas. Okay, let's make it in Texas. Submit issue. So, yes. And then let's do a failed API response. So if we head over to create and we do failed API, if we just click submit issue, then this will tell us to enter the location of the issue. So let's enter location, and we click this button. But obviously there's no location matched, so it showed up and it told us that's not a location. So we're gonna have to enter an actual location. So let's do Van Leer building. And it matched it to the Van Leer building in Atlanta, Georgia. So that was just showing a failed API response. And that is all that we needed to show for Suman. So we want to log into Janhavi's account, verify changes reflected. So here, let's actually finish creating this issue. Failed API, facilities department, broken not working, Van Leer building. Click this button, description, submit issue. So now let's go to log out, and let's log back into Janhavi's account. This is going to be johnhavi4@caltech.edu and password. So once we sign in, we can see that the duplicate issue is still marked as a duplicate, and the staff dashboard, everything is marked correctly. So the next part is check style. So for check style, we're going to stop the app actually, and we're going to run it. For check style, there are a couple of things that, let me rerun this. All of these things are things that we literally can't change. For example, build.gradle, gradle.w, or gradle.w.bat. So there are no, and workspace.xml, we cannot change this at all. There are no Java or XML files that we can actually change. So this means that we have no check style warnings for our files. Next up, we have unit tests. And for unit tests, these are the unit tests that everyone created. So let's head over to those and run those and show that they work. So let's head over to unit tests. We have the duplicate issue test, which Parth made. So if we run this, we can see that it worked. The next one is, let's do geocode response. Let's run this. Oh, and let me show. And that looked red, but it was the test have passed. Another one, we have georepository. So let's run this. And both the past two were checking the API. So we have 2 tests passed. Then we also have user factory unit test, which tests the user factory creation and the factory method worked. And here we have that it passed. And then finally, we have issue upvote sort. That's another thing that I'm going to show after this, issue upvote sort. So if we run this, we can see that 2 tests passed. So all the unit tests work. Now for extra credit features, we have the audit trail, the multi-language, and the profile page for account deletion and staff department change. So for this, I'm going to log into a staff account, just so I don't have to change between accounts to show it. Let's run the app. Let's log back into Janhavi 4 at gautech.edu with password. Sign in. And as you can see here, we have our Summon issue and we have our failed API issue show up. So if we go over to the staff dashboard, or no, the profile page. In the profile page, there's this little button up here. If you click it, you can choose between English or Chinese. So let's switch to Chinese. Because of this, it switches everything that it can switch that is not stored in Firebase, like these names. It switches everything like that into Chinese. So all of this is switched. Every single button is switched. All of this is switched. And you can also, if you log out, I'm going to have to type this out over here because to log back in. I'm going to put this in and then do password. Basically, all of this is still shown in Chinese when you log out. And then we're going back in and we can switch back to English. So that is the multi-language thing that is shown through here. You can also change the department. So if you change department, let's actually head over to our Firebase first to show that it actually changes in Firebase. If we go over to staff and then Janhavi 4, we can see the department is currently just department. If we head over here and click change department and do facilities management, it's going to update to facilities management here. And in Firebase, it also updates to facilities management, which is great. For the audit trail, how that works is if we scroll over to some issue over here, you can see the audit trail shows what happened before and what happened after. So for example, if you assign an issue to someone, then it shows who was assigned to before and who was assigned to after. So if we head over here and click assign staff to this failed API, let's do Ananya, assign. We head back over to the feed. Then here you can see that it was assigned to Ananya before, no one assigned after Ananya. So the staff one is more simplified, while the issue feed is actually, it shows more. So let's find one with a lot. No. So if you click this load more button, it will actually load more issues until you get down to the issue created, which is why every time you click the load more button, it shows 5 more updates, so it doesn't show everything at once. So if we go back over to the profile, we showed the staff changing, we showed the audit trail, which is this audit trail right here. We have the water leak from ceiling, and here in the failed API, we have the assigned to Ananya before, no one after Ananya. So, and then we also have the multi-language extra credit. The final one is deleting an account. If you delete this account, you click delete, then you're headed over here. If we go over to Firebase and we reload, okay. Then if you try to sign back in with password, it's shown that the account does not exist, so Firebase hasn't updated yet. So those are all of our extra credit features, and thanks for watching our demo video. We also have an extra credit feature of a LinkedIn learning article, so go read that. Thank you.